They mocked her age. They mocked her skin. They mocked her past. To them, she was just an old woman who didn't belong in their world of luxury, rifles, and money. But when she picked up the gun, her hands became history. Every shot was a memory. Every breath was a battle. And the moment the 10th bullet ripped through the center of the target, the room fell silent. The privileged finally saw what they had tried so hard not to see. They hadn't been facing a woman to humiliate, but a legend they were never worthy of. The winter morning was sharp as a blade when Diane Wilson stepped out of her car in front of the elite marksman club. The building rose from the earth like a fortress made of glass and steel, its reflective walls throwing back the gray sky and the icy wind. A place built for exclusivity, money, and ego. Everything about it whispered, "Not for you." Diane adjusted her coat. Her back was straight. Her steps were slow but steady. 60 years old, gray braids, calm eyes. No one watching her walk into that lobby could imagine she had once crawled through sandstorms and foreign deserts. Her rifle steady while mortar fire thundered around her. No one could imagine the ghosts she carried, or the medals locked away in a drawer she never opened. She pushed through the revolving door. Warmth engulfed her, and so did the stairs. The lobby was a museum of masculine wealth. Marble floors, leather chairs, photographs of men holding rifles and trophies. The air smelled like coffee, leather, arrogance. A receptionist in an immaculate suit looked up. His gaze traveled over her coat, her shoes, her age. A small twitch of disgust touched his mouth. "I think you've got the wrong place," he said crisply. "The general services area is at the back." He said it like he'd given the directions 1,000 times, without thinking, without seeing. Diane rested her worn wallet on the counter. "No mistake," she said. "I'm expected. I'm a guest of General Roberts." The receptionist didn't touch the car at first. He leaned back slightly, as if distance might protect him from contamination. Finally, he pinched the edge with 2 fingers and examined it. Behind Diane, a cluster of men in tailored tactical clothes lounged on expensive furniture, watching the scene with the indulgent amusement of those accustomed to superiority. The receptionist frowned. This card expired 5 years ago. He slid it back to her like it was trash. "And our field isn't exactly suitable for someone of your condition." Diane accepted the card with steady, quiet hands. Nothing surprised her. Not the condescension. Not the mockery. Not the way his voice had curled around the word condition like a slur. She had walked into enemy territory before, and she had survived worse than soft men with expensive rifles. "General Roberts confirmed my attendance yesterday," she said. "Check your system." He sighed theatrically and tapped on the computer. Then his face shifted. "Lane 10, he muttered reluctantly. "Sign here." As she signed, a voice sliced through the air. "Is this some kind of joke, Derek?" The man who approached seemed carved from money and self-importance. His tactical suit probably cost more than her car. His name was embroidered on the chest. Alexander Morgan, tech mogul, majority shareholder, a man who had never heard the word no without adding, "But I'll pay extra." "Since when do we accept people like her?" he asked loudly. "She's a guest of General Roberts," Derek murmured. Morgan replied. "Roberts and her charities. First veterans, now this." He looked Diane up and down. "What do you do?" "Clean guns." Diane met his eyes. "I use them." Laughter erupted. Phones appeared. This was entertainment. Morgan grinned. "Oh, she uses them. Well then, let's make it interesting." He stepped closer. "Do you know the Alexander Dumas challenge?" She nodded once. 10 shots. Same hole. At 500 meters. Almost no one had ever dared to attempt it. "No one has ever completed it," Morgan said proudly. "Not here. Not anywhere that matters. Not even me." His voice lowered, dripping with entertainment. "If you succeed, I'll pay your membership for a full year." His smile sharpened like a blade. "If you fail, go back to cleaning bathrooms." Laughter exploded. Diane didn't blink. "You're betting a lot," she said. "Oh, don't worry," Morgan chuckled. "There's no risk. He looked at the receptionist. Get her a gun. Something simple she can handle. Diane turned and walked toward the firing area through the gauntlet of smirks. But her heartbeat was steady. She had not come here for them. She had come for one girl. Zoe, her granddaughter, 12 years old, wide-eyed, talented, dreaming of the Olympics. And recently, someone in her school had whispered to her, "Girls like you don't belong in this sport." Diane had heard those words her entire life. Now she was here to change them. The main hall of the shooting range buzzed with anticipation. Sleek lanes, digital targets, monitors, climate control, luxury disguised as sport. News of the bet spread like wildfire. Did you hear? Morgan challenged the cleaning lady. 10 shots. Same hole. Impossible. Bets were flying. Laughter was casual, cruel. Trevor Powell, the chief instructor, approached with a clipboard. "Mr. Morgan, are you sure? This is a waste of ammunition." "Entertainment," Morgan said. "She needs a lesson in humility." Powell handed Diane a basic rifle. It looked normal, but Diane could feel the imbalance the moment she touched it. The sights were misaligned. Trigger delay. Intentional sabotage. Powell smirked. "The rules are simple. 10 shots. Same point. 500 meters. Any questions?" "Can I make some adjustments?" she asked. "If you know how," he snorted. Diane began adjusting the rifle. Her hands moved with the precision of memory. Metal and wood became extensions of her bones. A young shooter nearby, a national champion named Sophia Chun, watched baffled. "Why are they treating her like that?" she whispered. "Because people like her don't belong here," came the cold reply. Sophia frowned. Meanwhile, laughter continued. "Maybe she needs a bigger target. Or move it to 10 meters. But not everyone laughed. At the edge of the room stood a man with silver hair and silent eyes. He watched with respect. Major James Foster, retired instructor, veteran. He saw her hands, and he understood. When Diane stepped away to adjust her stance, Foster followed. "James Foster," he said softly. "Instructor here, 15 years. Sorry about their behavior. Diane Wilson." He looked at the rifle. He looked at her posture. "Military." She paused, then nodded. 23rd Battalion. Sniper. 20 years. 37 missions. His mouth dropped slightly. "The ghost of Fallujah." Diane didn't answer. He leaned in. "The rifle they gave you is sabotaged. Sights 2 degrees off. Trigger delay." She nodded. "Nothing I can't correct. I can get you a better scope." "No," she said. He stared. "Why?" Diane looked toward Morgan and his laughing friends. "Because I want them to see what I can do with their leftovers." Foster smiled. He understood. 20 minutes passed like smoke. The hall was packed now. Morgan opened champagne. "I'll bet she can't even hit the target," one man said. 200 says she cries after the third shot. Phones were streaming. Diane walked to the firing line. 500 meters. Half a kilometer. A target the size of a dinner plate. She breathed in. Powell smirked. "Time's up. Ready to give up?" "I'm ready." Silence fell, thick, electric. She thought of Zoe. She thought of every door that had been slammed in her face. She steadied her breath. Powell's voice cut the air. "First attempt. Whenever you're ready." Diane didn't answer. Her mind went elsewhere. Moonless nights in foreign deserts. The smell of gun oil and sand. The whisper of a radio. The weight of lives in her hands. She exhaled slowly. Her fingers squeezed the faulty trigger with perfect compensation. Boom. The monitor flashed. 10.0, perfect center. Snickers died. "Beginner's luck," someone muttered. Diane reloaded. Second shot. Breath steady. 10.0. The murmurs grew. Morgan sat forward. Third shot. 10.0. Fourth shot. 10.0. Fifth shot. The hole in the target didn't grow. It deepened. Powell leaned closer to the screen. "That's impossible," he whispered. Sixth shot. 10.0. Morgan stood now, pale. "Check the system." There's no error, the technician said. Everything is perfect. Seventh shot. 10.0. The hall was silent. Eighth shot. 10.0. Even the air felt frozen. Ninth shot. 10.0. Morgan was trembling. Who is she? Foster answered quietly. Wrong question. You should ask why you assumed she couldn't be who she is. For the 10th shot, Diane did something no one expected. She turned her head. She looked directly at Morgan. Her calm eyes met his. Then she looked back to the target. Raised a rifle. Fired. 10.0. Alexander Dumas challenge completed. The scoreboard lit up. 100 out of 100. New record. For several seconds, no one moved. Then Foster clapped. Then Sophia. Then the hall erupted. A standing ovation. A legend. Reborn. Morgan stormed forward. You cheated. Impossible, Powell said. Sensors recorded everything. No error. Morgan was shaking. She can't. She can't because she's... The general manager stepped forward. She can't be better because she's a woman? Because she's black? Because she's 60? The cameras caught every word. Foster stepped forward, his voice cutting like a drill sergeant. She didn't appear out of nowhere. Colonel Diane Wilson served this country 40 years. 20 as our best sniper. 17 military records. 22 decorations. Most of her missions are still classified. The room gasped. Someone whispered, "The ghost of Fallujah." Diane finally lowered the rifle. "I'm not a legend," she said quietly. "I just worked hard, like any serious shooter." The general manager took her hand. "Colonel Wilson, welcome to the club. Lifetime membership. All expenses paid." Tyler's live stream captured Morgan's humiliation. Diane turned to him. "Our bet." He swallowed. "Yes, of course. I'd like to change the terms." His eyes narrowed. "Instead of paying for my membership," she said, "you will fund scholarships for young shooters from underprivileged communities." Her voice softened. "Started with my granddaughter, Zoe." The applause grew louder. Because everyone knew. This wasn't revenge. It was transformation. The elite marksman club was unrecognizable. Walls now showed photos of young shooters from every background. 50 full scholarships. Zoe won her first championship. Morgan came sometimes silent, changed. His empire had crumbled when the video exposed his prejudice. Investors fled. Contracts vanished. But something else happened. His son joined the scholarship program board. "I grew up believing talent was privilege," he said. "Colonel Wilson proved me wrong." The old rifle Diane used that day was placed in a glass case at the entrance. Below it, 10 shots. One hole. A door opened. Diane became a speaker, a mentor, a symbol of quiet excellence. Her message was simple. The strongest answer to discrimination is not loud anger, but undeniable excellence. Morgan rarely spoke now. Once, someone saw him watching Diane teach a group of kids. His eyes were tired, sad. He had lost more than a bet. He had lost the illusion that had ruled him for decades. In a world that underestimates people for how they look, how they age, or where they come from, Diane became a reminder. Excellence is louder than prejudice. And every time she stepped onto the range, she saw Zoe watching her with wide, bright eyes. The future was holding its breath.